Greetings everyone, and welcome to my YouTube channel. It's time yet again for another episode of my semi-regular vlog series, The Captain's Table. I hope everybody had a wonderful 4th of July weekend. It was a long weekend for me, which I rarely ever get. So I got the opportunity right off the bat, and had already planned to go with a friend up to his property up in northern Washington and shoot off some guns, as you can see here. Taking my semi-automatic rifle out to his property. Now, I'm actually a lot closer to the target than it looks like I am. The targets that I ended up getting were entirely too small. They were about half the size I thought they were going to be. Still, though, I managed very easily to hit at a range of about 100 yards, which was back where his cabin is located, and here we're about half the distance to the target. But it was quite nice. I never ever get to take my rifle out and fire it. There aren't any rifle ranges out in the Seattle area, and the one that is only lets you fire single shot and not full magazines.
You love the crotch, you always have.
Unfortunately for me, I always tend to fire a little bit low and to the left or to the right, but
You're sick, man.
I'm using the really lightweight bullets just because they were the cheapest rounds available. Other than that, got back on Monday right before 4th of July, was invited to go spend several hours out on my father's sailboat, but was still feeling pretty much knackered from my outing to my buddy's farm there, as it was quite a long trip. I mean, it was something like a 4-hour drive up there, and that was mostly due to getting lost on the way, looking for a spot to have lunch. Yeah, you wouldn't think that would be a possibility, but apparently it was. And it was a 3-hour drive back. And if you didn't notice, I wasn't really responding on the 2nd in the late afternoon or Monday the 3rd's morning for quite a bit. And that was mostly because where I was at that property, completely out of cellular service range. No signal whatsoever. Fortunately for me, if it absolutely came down to it, all I had to do was end up driving about 20 minutes down the road, and voila, cell service for me. Ended up not going out on the sailboat. Again, a little bit disappointed by that, but I had other things that I had to do. Taking that kind of trip really does put a substantial amount of effort into my part, packing, taking the time. So I really didn't have the additional time with all the housework that had to be done in order to go out on the boat. So no pictures or video from that. And then I didn't take any pictures or video of the fireworks, partly because I was in bed about the time they happened, just absolutely exhausted. And partly because if you've seen the fireworks show once in this city, you've pretty much seen it every single year since. It never changes. It's in the same spot, which is fine, but it never changes. The show is effectively the same show every single year. And I didn't really feel like braving the crowds for a good spot to watch it. The Steam Summer Sale was also going on, starting to wrap up there. So I decided to pick up a new base builder type game, something that I always do enjoy these type of games. If you're a fan of Prison Architect, if you're a fan of RimWorld, this game is probably going to be right up your alley. It's effectively RimWorld in space, and it's called Starship Theory. It just released into early access on Steam, And I will probably be doing a Let's Play of this soon enough. As it is now, the game actually is quite challenging early on. There's a lot of elements in this game that really do require some significant pre-planning. And if you're not careful, you're going to very quickly end up in a situation where, well, everything's on fire. Everything is on fire, and that is not okay. And you're going to have to restart the game a lot. I think I've managed something like 6 or 7 restarts at this point, and I've only played the game for about 3 hours. So definitely a challenging game, something fun that I enjoy. Didn't really pick up anything else on the Steam sale. There was nothing that particularly interested me. So I guess on one side that's good. I don't really have the money to buy a bunch of new video games anyway. And on the other side, it's kind of good because I still have a backlog of games that I need to play in my Steam library. On the World of Warship side, I'm still kind of taking a semi-break. I really don't play a lot. Those of you who do play a lot probably see me every once in a while, but I just don't play World of Warships as much as I used to. I have a feeling, though, that will probably change when the British battleships get released. I am looking forward to them. I'm especially looking forward to the Conqueror, but if what's rumored to end up being true, or if what's true ends up getting, permanently switched over, then I'm probably not as interested in playing the British battleship lines. Mostly because I really was looking for another ship that had, nice big 18-inch guns. And yeah, they're not as big or as OP as the Yamato's guns, but they're still 18-inch guns. I mean, they still put serious hurt on whatever you're shooting at. But if they, true that they've basically made them, the Conqueror the same as the Currywurst, the same as the Montana with 12, 16-inch guns, then I'm not as interested in it. But I still think that the British battleship line is going to be pretty interesting to play. Other than that, I'm not looking too forward to any major upcoming things in World of Warships. Now, I did buy the USS Enterprise, and I did play a game at her, and I didn't realize that there were 2 fighter configurations, or not 2 fighter configurations, 2 bomber configurations, so I was wondering why my bombs were not doing as much damage as I thought they should have been doing. So I didn't know about that. The team ended up falling apart. Surprisingly, did okay in the ship. I mean, for somebody who never plays carriers, and, I still hold to it. I hate carriers. I hate carrier players. And so, yes, I did hate myself after playing that ship. I lamented the decision hardcore. I might go back to it at some point. And I do need a tier 8 carrier to finish off the campaigns for I think the Science of Victory and the other, main campaign, in order to finish them off with honors. So eventually I'll go back and I'll play some more of that, and I'll slowly learn what I'm doing. I kind of know well enough what I'm doing. It's just too much going on, so I can never really truly be as good as I want to be. Certainly not my Fletcher. That is certainly the case. Speaking of the Fletcher, I have been playing that still pretty regularly, and I'm pretty happy with that ship as it is. Of course, I have been asked several times about doing a video on my captain's build and modules and everything, and I think I did one a long time ago, but I will definitely do a new one, so that will be coming out soon, TM. Definitely look for that if you're interested in exactly how I play the ship and why I might be particularly good in it, the skills that I use, and why I use those skills. Anyway, that's it for my semi-regular vlog. There's really not much going on in life for me right now. Not too many new games, just playing the games that I have, and of course busy with work. If you'd like to get semi-regular channel news and updates a bit more regularly than my vlog, you can do so by liking and following me on Facebook. If you'd like to help support me and the channel, and I do encourage that because you can donate as little as $1 a month in support and gain access to some of my World of Warships replays early, you can do so by becoming my supporter on Patreon. If you've got a World of Warships replay that you'd like to see featured on my channel, you can do so by sending it to my email, and I want to say thank you to everybody who is sending me wonderful World of Warships replays. And, of course, if you'd like to watch me play games live, you can do so by following me on Twitch. You can find the links for all of those in the video description down below. And as always, I'll see you next time. This is Captain Rye, signing off.